much for coming back on our show here. It's exciting to have you again.
Thanks, Matt. Great to be here.
And, for BobiHealth, which for those of you that are regular watchers, you've seen BobiHealth here on our show before, but Dave's here because of the exciting progress and the exciting selection to the Velocity and Methodist Healthcare Ministries Community Accelerator. And Dave, congratulations for that. That's a great thing for our community, and I know it's a great thing for you guys.
Hey, great for us. Yeah, we're really enjoying it.
So before we kind of dive into the accelerator and your experience there and those sort of things, remind our viewers about BobiHealth and what it does.
Okay, yeah. Well, we started BobiHealth to make pregnancy safer. So one of the co-founders and I, we worked previously at another startup that we took to exit, where we studied the effect of COVID and COVID vaccines on pregnancies, and there we decided that there was so much more that can be done for maternal health. Every day, it's 800 women die from maternal-related issues, and almost all, 94% of those, is avoidable.
Wow.
So yeah, we have built a mobile app that's empowered with artificial intelligence to be able to take enormous data sets and be able to predict adverse events in pregnancy like preeclampsia, infection, bleeding, or a hemorrhage, mental health issues, and provide users with timely information, right? Predictions like, hey, you might have this condition. Here's what you can do to have a healthier outcome.
Which is great because, the traditional model now for, pregnancy and healthcare, and if you're deemed a high risk, it's still the same thing, is you have to make that choice to go in and see a provider or to go to the ER if you think there's an issue. It's not really a proactive, it's a reactive healthcare plan in the traditional model, right? That's what your innovation is going to do, is to kind of flip that to be more proactive, right?
Yeah, I like to talk about one of my co-founders who, in the town where she grew up in rural Texas, they have no maternal health care facilities in the whole county, right? They closed it down. So now it would take somebody that lives there 2 hours to get to the nearest maternal health care facility.
Wow.
And this is why we're excited about joining the Methodist Healthcare Ministries in the Rio Grande Valley, as we see the opportunity just for enormous impact and the ability to not only empower those pregnant people with tools they need to thrive, but also empower the community support network that's already there and help enhance the ability to connect with the pregnant person.
So congratulations again on being selected to the Community Accelerator, which is a phenomenal opportunity here in our community. What attracted you to the Community Accelerator? Because these are time-intensive, labor-intensive. What attracted you to come to that, to apply for that accelerator?
Well, we're a young startup, and the resources that these accelerators bring is awesome. And they bring subject matter experts on, everything, not just health tech, but HR and legal and finance folks, experts like you, Matt, to come in and mentor us on, how to navigate starting a company and getting it off to the right step. And for us in the space where compliance and, these things can be complex. So we appreciate any help that we can get with that.
What would it mean to BobiHealth to be selected in the final pitch competition for the pilot within Methodist Healthcare Ministries? What would that mean for BobiHealth?
Well, through our market analysis, we found that the quickest way for impact and also revenue is going to be for partnering with value-based healthcare systems. So to get there and to get multiple contracts, we need to have pilots, right, to prove our use case. So this was enormous for us. It's a absolute game-changing opportunity where we can demonstrate that, well, this technology can save lives. this technology can improve outcomes, and it can improve the bottom line for those healthcare centers that benefit from less time in hospital stays, early intervention, less severe incidents. So.
No, that's great. And, that's kind of the rationale behind it, right? Is for a startup like you and BobiHealth, I mean, you need this pilot. For the community, it has a need. It's a detriment, the fact that there's not access to maternal health resources within large parts of our community. And, physical assets is really the solution in the current model, right? But as you just said, somebody on your team is 2 hours away from one. So physical assets aren't going to work. You've got to be able to scale it out to have it at the fingertips of the of the mothers, so that way they can be proactive, which is great.
Correct.
For your journey, and I know more about it because you were here on the show talking. We talked about fundraising and what that looks like in this market. To win the competition and to be selected for the pilot, what would that do for you as far as now progressing your commercialization path and your fundraising efforts?
It's been a tough year to fundraise. We've been fortunate to have some investors that really aligned with our vision and our mission. But it's been a tough nut to crack here locally, right? And I've gone to angel networks outside of Texas that said, well, we're not willing to invest in you if you can't get money from your own backyard, your own community, right?
Wow.
That was really hard to hear. And honestly, I've been somewhat shocked by how hard it's been when, not only do we have an incredible technology that we built, an incredible platform, and the opportunity to make earn revenue, right? But to have a huge impact. I mean, this is a global epidemic, often ignored. But 300,000 women every year, that the majority of which it's avoidable deaths.
Right.
The morbidity in America, it's 50,000 women every year in America. The cost to our system is $40 billion. So the opportunity's there, and I think that the ability for us to connect with the Methodist Healthcare Ministries, it gives us that brand recognition, right? To align with somebody like that. I mean, an enormous, great institution that people recognize, and to be able to prove out what we're doing. Yeah, this will open a lot of doors for us, and probably some pockets. Yeah.
Well, I mean, validation, be it by, the government, SBIR grants,
Yes.
Those type of situations, pitch competitions to some extent, I would say, but validation from pilot projects and the partners in those pilot projects,
Just huge.
Those are monumental, right? Because you get the seal of approval when you are engaged in that pilot by that entity, and everybody goes, well, I mean, if they got the good housekeeping seal, I mean, good housekeeping doesn't just put that seal on everything, although I haven't seen it in a very long time. But yeah, I mean, it's going to, I hope, for, BobiHealth or any of the other companies that are selected for this, and even just being a part of this, right? The selection itself, is into the cohort is a major accomplishment, but the pilot itself, should be great. Let me ask you, from last time we talked, I mean, with a founder, challenges are daily. What is one of the current challenges you're facing right now? I know you talked about fundraising and maybe that's it, but what's one of the current challenges you're facing right now, and how have you kind of learned some lessons from that?
Oh boy. Well, we talked about the difficulties in the system fundraising, right? And this has kept us from scaling. So it's taken us longer to build what we're trying to build. It's been difficult to retain folks because we're a bootstrap company. So that's made it difficult. That's one of our hugest risks is losing key talent. Um, the answer is really just keep rowing, right? We keep driving. I go to my mentors and say, okay, well, here's where we're at. What do you think? And they keep saying, yep, you're doing all the right stuff. Just keep going. Eventually it'll work.
Yeah, there's not really overnight successes in the startup world. People think that there are, but the reality is there's usually been a long tail of
Uh-huh.
pain and suffering and
Yep.
progressing before then, people go, oh, I mean, wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, they just hit it right off the bat as soon as they, got up to the plate, which is not the case.
Well, I've just been blessed with an amazing team of folks that really care about what we're doing. None of us are making money off this. It's all mission driven, all of it.
Right.
And we've built a beautiful product that we really are very proud of. So
No, I mean, again, congratulations to you guys' continued success, through all of this. Let me ask you, just from from looking at the South Texas region, and it's, Methodist Healthcare Ministries has 74 counties that it represents, which I think you can fit like 6 states into that territory. So we're not talking, we're not talking, the state of Delaware that you're putting in there. There's like times 6 or 7 of them. A lot of what they're dealing with is access to care. I mean, it's one of the biggest gaps that we've got. It's what you're looking at, right? What do you think are the challenges with, what do you think are the challenges with adoption by those patients, who aren't used to these type of empowering technologies? Do you see that in what you're dealing with?
yeah, I mean, I guess first off, I spoke to a nurse yesterday in Coleman County. They have the only obstetrics doctor within all that county and all the surrounding counties. So it's a 100-mile radius that they care for all of the pregnant people in that area. And her daughter, she said, is pregnant and had to drive over an hour and a half to get to her provider. Right.
Wow.
We've done plenty of market research, and users are very comfortable with using their mobile applications on their phone. Right. This is like, and adoption is not a problem. We saw, and when we were doing beta testing, we had some just moderate advertising. We had over 20 downloads every day.
Oh,
so
wow.
we stopped it at 1,200, over 1,200 downloads in just 2 months, right? People want this.
Sure.
There's actually some really interesting research that was done in China, where they're the second largest market for pregnancy mobile apps. And so they're wondering, like, why are people why are they using mobile apps? And well, it's really pretty basic common sense, right? They want to know what's going on with their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm this is a dangerous condition. I might die from this. My baby might not make it. Right. I want to do everything that I can to make this work, right? To have a healthy outcome. And these tools help enable that. Yeah, people are absolutely willing to put in the work.
And help talk a little bit about, I know you guys don't use AI today, but again, for you and your market, unlike, maybe other chronic care, platforms, or, just being proactive with healthcare, you're dealing with Gen Z, millennials who are more tech savvy. Mm-hmm. And, I'm a Gen X, so I remember when we didn't have cell phones, and that sort of things, and I had a pager, right? But this generation of pregnant women, they've always had technology. The internet's always been there. They're comfortable with that. Do you think it's a little bit easier on this for you from the adoption standpoint because of your demographic?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we talk to customers or potential customers, yeah, they say, yeah, I would use that. When we talk to people who have been pregnant before, those conversations get very deep and personal, where they say, yeah, I went through this when I was pregnant, or I had this condition that was not diagnosed, or I had this loss, and I wish that I had this
Right.
during that, like,
Right.
but, I talked to, I had a interview with a 21-year-old, never been pregnant, just a couple of days ago, hadn't thought about it. Right. Just completely blank slate. And she's like, yeah, I would probably use that, and it's kind of standard for them. Do I have a problem? Is there an app for that?
Right.
No,
I mean, that's true. So then kind of going back to where I alluded to, and then I didn't go to all the way, is AI.
Okay.
So with all this data, right, you've got Gen Z, millennials that are going to be comfortable with giving data, putting data in, integrating wearables, all of that.
Mhm.
What does the future look like for BobiHealth as you bring in AI aspects to your technology?
Yeah, well, we are an ethical AI company. So what data we're able to collect, whether it be through our app or through data brokerage, we look for the ability to collect insights or find insights. What is a cause for a condition? What can we use to predict adverse events? We've already enabled the ability to predict live birth with 95% accuracy with our models. Yep.
Versus just contractions.
Right. So yeah, basically live birth versus not. We can make those predictions, and we narrowed it down to just over 50 data points. Really interesting.
Wow.
So that's the type of thing.
How many times I had false alerts between my 3 kids?
Yeah. Well,
it's sleep and everything usually on a couple of those, right? Where it's like, all right, here we go.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, we want to do that for adverse events. Now, data collection has become really very easy now. Like, and that's why we started Bobi's. Like, the technology exists to solve for this. Why are we not?
Right.
So wearables are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. Right. Smartphone. Everybody's got a smartphone. With just a smartphone, we can collect a ton of data, right? And it's not just a user inputting in information. We can pull data through APIs very easily, especially through like the Apple Health Kit, right? There's a ton of health metrics that we can collect, and then run it through along with the data sets that we collect through the app to be able to make our predictions.
That's fantastic.
The future you asked about, and this is what we're really excited about, is the patent that we've we have been approved by the U.S. Patent Office. I didn't want to use the right language there, or accepted by the Patent Office. This is for federated machine learning with differential privacy. So what this does is it's ultra safe data privacy, right? We push the compute to the user's device, meaning we don't maintain users' personal information in our database. It's differential or private. So they use math to make it so that it's not, you can't identify an individual from each row of data.
Right.
But the user still gets the benefit from the AI on their device.
Right.
It's really cool.
No, that's great. So it sounds like it's a tool to de-identify the data in a more secure way.
Yeah, it makes it so that, let's say that we get hacked, right? A malicious actor comes and hacks us. They won't be able to
determine,
find individuals' personal private data. Or, for whatever reason, somebody else comes, like, we won't have the data to give them or that's for them to come get.
which is great because again, in this country, we do protect very, 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 very heavily, patient identifying information, patient health information, rightfully so, right? Because it's so sensitive on so many levels. So that's fantastic. One of the questions I was going to ask you too, Dave, is when kind of deploying this out into the community, which is the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas, it's a very different demographic than San Antonio, Texas, for sure Dallas, Texas, right, and then most certainly New York City. And you guys are a global, you'll have global reach. You have reach around the United States. What is y'all's process with regard to, looking at your customers and the patients, the mothers within RGV, which is a very different, population than most of what, is in rural and in areas?
Yeah, this is what we're really excited about. And it's something that's been on a roadmap, but the ability to target, regional targets for our users. So our goal is to go boots on the ground to the Rio Grande Valley and work with the community resources, county resources, nonprofits, healthcare systems, and customize what we provide the users on the application. So there's things like we can advertise for resources. Our healthcare providers and educators can help enhance what the community is providing. It's almost like Bobi can be kind of a hub or a funnel to connect with that user, and inform the user like what's out there. Right? I'm having this problem, and the app can then send a notification and say, hey, here's who you can call in your area.
Wow.
Right.
So it becomes really a community resource in addition to something that allows somebody to be proactive.
I mean, just how powerful is that? Right.
Yeah.
And even like, let's say there's not sleeping well or back pain. And, we could connect a user with a local yoga studio that's certified for, yoga during pregnancy, right?
Right.
Or pelvic floor stuff. Like there's all kind of options that we can do with the app.
No, that is fantastic. Well, Dave, congratulations again on the selection to the Methodist Healthcare Ministries and Velocity Community Accelerator. I mean, it's fantastic for our community. It's fantastic that we've got, again, innovations in our community that are going to get deployed, potentially across, at worst, it has accelerated, the eyeballs that are looking and now are informed. I know we're going to be heading into that pitch competition, in next week, which will be fantastic. There'll be city leaders there, county leaders, healthcare leaders that are going to get exposed to it. So again, just congratulations to you and all the success.
We're really excited.
Health, and I really appreciate you coming on the show here again.
Hey, we really appreciate having us, Matt. This is really great.
Great. So for everybody that's watching here, look in our description. We've got all the details about BobiHealth, so that way you can connect with them or you can connect others that may be able to be benefited from the BobiHealth platform. You can send that out as well. And if you've got a comment, please leave us a comment, engage with us. That's what we would love to hear. And hit that like button, regardless of what platform you're watching or listening to us, so that way we know that we're providing value. And we'll see you next time when we talk to another member of the cohort from the Methodist Healthcare Ministries and Velocity Community Accelerator. We'll see you then.